Aline enters the house, announcing that she had already arrived. And she goes to the kitchen calling her dogs and gets a glass to drink water. Seconds later her husband comes in with one of the dogs in his arm and greets her with a kiss, asking if everything was okay. She confirms and Pedro says that he was there changing a light bulb and that it had been a lot of trouble. Your husband immediately asks how your working day was. Your wife soon says that today was tense, because she had woken up in the morning and almost missed the bus, which had left her lunchbox at home, and today had been like that. Pedro says he was sad about this business of her riding the bus, but he would save some money to at least buy an old car so she could go work, because he used what they had and she was taking the bus. His wife tells him not to worry because later on things would work out for them. She soon catches her husband's attention saying that he was handsome and asked where he was going. Her partner soon says that she was forgotten. Pedro says that he had said he would go out with his friends to have a drink. His companion soon says that her head was so full that she had forgotten. Aline says that Pedro really had to go out because he worked so much, always very busy, and that it was good to go out like this to relax and talk with friends, but asks him not to drink and drive because she was worried. Her husband says that he would only talk to the boys and that his work was difficult. She soon says that she was not very well and that she would take a shower to rest. Pedro soon says that that's what he wanted to talk to her about, saying that she really needed to rest and a little stressed, and asks her to leave her work there because when she got home it was another story. She agrees and says she'll take it. Shower and give her a kiss. But when Aline was leaving, her partner pulls her saying that shirt he was wearing was the one she had bought, knowing that his wife had forgotten about it. She confirms that thought, saying that she didn't even remember, and leaves to get the towel. Leaving the bathroom, Aline warns her husband that the water had run out again. Pedro looks at his companion saying that he did not believe it had run out again, that it was difficult for them to pay the very expensive rent here, and that possibly this was the 4th time the water had run out. Was over, he says he would have to call Angelo because he had to solve it, because she arrived tired and needed a bath to relax. Aline says that she had no problem and asks him to solve it later, and that she was thinking here, and asks where would he go. He replies that he was talking to his friends about going to that new bar downtown. His partner looks and says that she knew where it was, but that she was actually worried and that knew that he was careful, but sometimes he takes an extra beer and is afraid of him driving back. Pedro says he already knew she was going to say that, so she says to take the app car or talk to a friend to go get him not to drink. He looks at her and tells her not to worry about it, and really thought it was better to call a car an app that was safer, that this drinking and driving thing doesn't work. Aline agrees and kisses him, saying she wanted to thank him. The husband asks why. She says that she saw that he had tidied up the whole house and that she really had the best husband in the world. Pedro asks to look at him and says he won the Mega Sena for having the wife he had, that he had to leave the house tidy, and that he had left everything ready for her when he arrived. She thanks him, saying she had noticed, but asks if he had made her something to eat. Sem Graca Pedro says that he had forgotten, because he hadn't given time to clean the house and leave everything clean. He hadn't given time to do anything for his wife to eat. His partner says not to worry, she would order anything to eat anyway. Aline agrees. He asks if she would stay in the room. She confirms, saying that she is going to rest, and leaves for the living room while her partner finishes tidying up. In the living room, Aline sat watching TV next to her dog. Pedro sits down and says he was going and gives him a kiss. She asks him to go with God and asks if he had already asked for an app car. Her husband replies that it didn't work out, but her friend Gustavo was already coming. Less worried, she says it's okay, because she knew Gustavo didn't drink, so there was no problem. Pedro says it won't be long. Her husband gets up to go. Arriving at the door, Pedro turns when Aline calls him telling him not to forget to take the key, because he didn't know what time he would arrive and he had a little headache and he was going to lie down, so he went in and she wouldn't have to get up. Worried, his partner asks how well she had a sudden headache, thinking he realized that his wife was not well and that she was not one to complain about pain, so he got worried and decided it was better to stay. Returning to the room, Pedro takes out his cell phone, saying that only if he was crazy to leave his wife alone, and calls Gustavo that maybe he hadn't left the house. When he answers, Pedro asks if everything is okay and asks if he still hasn't left the house, and as soon as his friend answers no, Pedro says that there was an unforeseen event and that he wouldn't be able to calm down his friend saying that everything was okay, but it was that he really had some things to solve, and he says that in the next opportunity he would thank them and ask him to talk to others and send them a hug, and that the next time they would meet. As soon as he turns off his cell phone, Pedro gets up and goes to put on his pajamas. Again, Pedro arrives already changed and asks Aline if she was ready to watch that series they liked the most. His wife doesn't understand and asks if he wouldn't go out with his friends. Pedro replies that if she really thought he would go out with his friends and leave her at home with a headache, and that he wasn't one of those. His wife says that she didn't need it, but her husband says that she did and that he was there for her, and that he didn't want to see her getting sick and was going to prepare soup along with the chocolate she likes, kissing her and saying that loves when she thanks him. Pedro gets up and runs to make her something to eat. After a few minutes, her husband comes out of the kitchen with a tray containing a snack for her to eat while the soup was ready, and shows that he had brought the chocolate she liked the most and sits on the couch. Aline thanks him, saying that she was speechless and thanks, and that he was a great husband treating her so well. Pedro tells his wife that he was only like that by reflex as she was with him, and that in addition to being a couple they were friends, sharing everything. He was very happy to be with her and really wanted to spend the rest of his life with Aline until old age. Aline says she loves him and her husband says he loved her too and asked God to take care of their relationship and kisses her. Companionship is as essential as love, and without them any relationship is incomplete.